The alarm screams. Your eyes open, and in that first fragile moment of consciousness, a battle is already being lost. You reach for your phone. A flood of notifications, news, other people's agendas, and the world's chaos rushes into the quiet space of your mind. You have, within seconds of waking, surrendered your sovereignty. You have allowed the external world to set the tone, the pace, and the priority of your day before you've even had a single coherent thought. You begin in a state of reaction, and you will likely spend the rest of the day trying to recover a peace you never established. But what if the first hour of your day wasn't about catching up, but about building up? What if you could construct an inner citadel of calm and focus before the world even knew you were awake? The ancient Stoics didn't have smartphones, but they understood the neuroscience of morning rituals centuries before the science existed. They knew that how you begin is how you continue. They understood that the mind, in its first waking moments, is soft clay, highly impressionable, dangerously vulnerable. To let the world stamp its seal upon it first is a catastrophic error. Tonight we are not discussing productivity hacks. We are building a philosophical fortress, brick by brick, each morning. This is the Stoic morning routine, 10 deliberate practices designed not to make you more efficient for the world, but to make the world less efficient at disturbing you. This is about reclaiming the authorship of your life, one dawn at a time. Let's diagnose the modern morning with Stoic clarity. It is a gauntlet of reactivity, a masterclass in how to lose your center before you've found it. You check email and immediately inherit other people's emergencies, their lack of planning now becoming your urgent crisis. You scroll social media and subconsciously compare your inner reality, your fears, your unmade bed, your quiet anxieties, to everyone else's curated highlight reel, instantly seeding a sense of lack. You consume the news and absorb a worldview of crisis, conflict, and partisan anger, priming your nervous system for fight or flight before you've had a sip of water. Before you've had breakfast, your mind is cluttered, anxious, and already fatigued. You have placed your precious, fresh consciousness, your hegemonicon, your ruling faculty, into a washing machine of other people's demands and the world's disorder. The Stoic problem is this: we begin the day as a clean slate, a blank papyrus, and we immediately let the world scribble its frantic, chaotic text all over it. We then spend our precious mental energy trying to decipher the scribbles, to manage the chaos, rather than taking up our own stylus and writing our own text with intention. Marcus Aurelius, who had the weight of an empire on his shoulders the moment he awoke, knew this danger intimately. He couldn't afford to be reactive. The fate of Rome might depend on his clarity. So he wrote in his private journal, meant only for his own eyes: "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly-eyed." He didn't check the Roman equivalent of Twitter to find this out. He didn't wait for experience to teach him. He prepared for it. He established his mindset first. He inoculated himself against disappointment by accepting the nature of people beforehand. The core of a Stoic morning is this: it is a deliberate, strategic withdrawal from reactivity to establish a base camp of proactivity. It is the daily refortification of your inner citadel against the certain sieges of the day. Without it, you are a city with open gates, inviting plunder. With it, you are a well-provisioned fortress, capable of withstanding any assault without panic. This ritual of intentional dawn has deep, sturdy roots in Stoic soil. While the Stoics didn't prescribe a rigid 10-step routine from a self-help book, their writings are saturated with the spirit and specific practices of morning discipline. Seneca, in his letters to his friend Lucilius, extolled the pre-dawn hours as sacred for study and self-conversation. He saw these quiet hours as stolen from the chaos of life, time that truly belonged to the self. He wrote, "The mind should be summoned to give an account of itself every day." Sextius used to do this, and when the day was over and he had retired to his nightly rest, he would put these questions to his soul: what bad habit have you cured today? What fault have you resisted? In what respect are you better? This is the prototype of the evening review, but it necessitates a morning intention. Epictetus, the former slave turned uncompromising teacher, constantly drilled his students on the discipline of assent, of examining their impressions first thing, before they could take root and become destructive judgments. His entire philosophy is a morning mindset, waking up and immediately applying the dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is itself the ultimate product of a morning routine. It is his written dialogue with himself, likely composed in the quiet hours before his imperial duties began, a way to steel himself for the political theater and immense burdens ahead. The philosophical underpinning of a Stoic morning is threefold. First, the dichotomy of control. The morning is your sacred time to firmly, clearly re-establish the boundary, to look in the mirror and say, this is mine, my effort, my intention, my judgment. That is not mine the weather, the traffic, my boss's mood, the market's movement. It is when you oil the hinges of that mental gate so you can better filter the day's impressions as they arrive. Second, it is an exercise in memento mori, remembering your mortality. Not to be morbid or paralyzing, but to instill a profound urgency and gratitude into your very first thoughts. To remember that this day is not a given but a gift, and to waste it on trivial reactivity is a philosophical sin. And third, it is the practice of amor fati, loving your fate by willingly accepting the day ahead, whatever it may bring, as the raw material for practicing virtue. The Stoic morning isn't about feeling good or pumped up. It's about becoming good, clear, and resilient. And from that cultivated goodness and clarity, a profound and unshakable calm naturally follows. It is engineering your inner state, not leaving it to chance. Here is the first counterintuitive hook, the pattern interrupt that will change how you view this entire endeavor. We have been sold a lie about morning routines. We think of them as a series of tasks to get done, a checklist for self-optimization, a way to get ahead, to be more productive, to crush the day. It's often framed as a way to do more for the world. The Stoic purpose is the radical opposite. A Stoic morning routine is not about doing, it is about undoing. It is not about addition but subtraction. It is the systematic daily dismantling of the illusions, the false attachments, and the cognitive errors that cause suffering. You are not adding more information, more motivation, more tasks to your mind. You are clearing the debris, the mental clutter and the emotional static so your innate reason can function with precision. You are not pumping yourself up with empty affirmations you don't truly believe. You are conducting a sober, honest inventory of reality, both within and without. You are not trying to control the day's outcomes. You are rehearsing your serene acceptance of everything you cannot control, so you can focus your finite power with laser precision on the tiny, powerful domain you can, your own choices and character. The most productive thing you can do in the morning is to become mentally unproductive to the world's noise. Your first victory of the day should be winning back your own attention from the digital sirens and societal demands. Everything else, the work, the meetings, the chores, are just secondary skirmishes. If you lose the first battle for your mind, you have likely lost the war for your day. This routine is your strategy for that essential initial victory. Let's begin the construction. These first three practices are the non-negotiables, the deep pilings upon which the entire fortress rests. They address the soul, the body, and the mind's orientation to the coming day. Skip these and the rest is just decoration. Practice 1, the pre-dawn silence, the reclamation of your attention. This is the first and most sacred law. Do not reach for a device, do not turn on a screen, do not consume any external input, no news, no podcasts, no music with lyrics, no conversations that demand your opinion for the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day. This is non-negotiable. In that silence you reclaim the most valuable resource you have, your unadulterated, sovereign attention. Epictetus said, if you seek truth, you will not seek to gain a victory by every possible means, and when you have found truth, you need not fear being defeated. The noise of the world, the pundits, the influencers, the advertisers, the inbox, is designed for one thing: to gain victory over your attention. It is a battle you are wired to lose, because it taps into your curiosity, your fear of missing out, your social comparison. Silence is where you retreat from that battlefield. It is where you seek and find your own truth. In this quiet, you remember who you are before the world tells you who you should be. You hear your own breath. You notice your own thoughts arising without immediately reacting to them. This practice is the equivalent of letting the muddied water of your mind settle overnight, become clear. You see to the bottom. You see what is actually there. This isn't mystical, it's neurological. You are allowing your default mode network to reset. You are lowering your cortisol levels from the moment you wake, and you are strengthening your prefrontal cortex ability to regulate, rather than be regulated by stimulus. Practice 2, the physical anchor, the mind-body dialogue. The Stoics were not ascetics who neglected the body. They were practical philosophers who understood the soma body as the necessary vessel for the hegemonikon commanding faculty. A shaky vessel makes for a turbulent journey. Your first conscious act, after embracing silence, should be a simple, deliberate physical one that re-establishes this connection. This is not a full workout aimed at optimization. It is a mindful anchor. It could be 5 minutes of conscious stretching, feeling each muscle greet the day. It could be a series of 10 deep diaphragmatic breaths, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, exhaling for 6, focusing solely on the rise and fall of your chest. It could be a short walk outside, barefoot on the grass if possible, feeling the earth, the air, the temperature. As you do this, feel the body. Do not judge it, simply inhabit it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You are a little soul carrying a corpse." It's a stark reminder, but its purpose is detachment from the body's whims, not neglect. Do not resent the corpse, acknowledge it, care for it. This practice grounds your floating, often anxious consciousness back into the physical reality of the present moment. It signals to your nervous system that you are here, now, and in command. It bridges the gap between the ethereal world of your thoughts and the tangible world you must act within. It says, "I am not just a mind, I am here, in this place, in this body, ready to engage." Practice 3, the gratitude to obstacle reframe the voluntary acceptance. Now, seated in your silence, body awake, you perform the key Stoic mental maneuver that sets the tone for everything to come. First, bring to mind 3 specific concrete things you are grateful for. Not vague concepts like health or family, but concrete, small, immediate things: the warmth of the blanket you just left, the clean taste of water on your tongue, the sound of birds outside, the roof that sheltered you, the functioning of your lungs. This is not positive thinking, it is factual accounting. It opens the heart and counters our innate negativity bias. It roots you in what is present and good. Then, immediately and crucially, you pivot. This is the Stoic twist. You visualize the day ahead and you actively welcome its potential obstacles. You think, today I will face delays, difficult people, frustrating bureaucracy, and unexpected setbacks. These are not interruptions to my peace, they are the very practice of it. They are my training ground for patience, for courage, for resilience, for humor. This is amor fati, the love of fate, in action. You are not just accepting difficulty, you are embracing it as the necessary friction that will polish your character. As Seneca wrote, the wise man will start each day with the thought, "Fortune gives us nothing which we can truly own." By willingly accepting difficulty before it arrives, you disarm it. You transform it from a foe that surprises and wounds you into a sparring partner you expected and are prepared to grapple with. This reframe is perhaps the most powerful part of the routine. It changes your relationship with reality itself, from one of resistance to one of collaboration. Now, the uncomfortable wake-up moment. The necessary truth you must confront if this is to be more than a temporary experiment. You must confront this. If you cannot spend 1 hour belonging to yourself, you have already admitted that you belong to everyone else. That reflexive morning scroll, that urgent inbox check, it is not just a habit, it is a ritual of submission. It is you reporting for duty to other people's priorities before you've even affirmed your own. You are saying, with your actions, my first and finest mental energy, my freshest consciousness, my most creative and resilient self is not mine to direct. It is for sale to the highest bidder of urgency, to the loudest notification, to the most recent drama. The Stoic morning is therefore an act of rebellion. It is a quiet, powerful declaration that your mind is not a public square for anyone to post their bulletins. It is a private temple, and you are its custodian. The resistance you will feel, the voice that says, "I don't have time," the anxiety that whispers, "I need to be available," the boredom that complains, "This is pointless," is not a logistical problem. It is the symptom of your enslavement. It is the addicted brain protesting its withdrawal from the dopamine hits of external validation and novelty. The routine is how you declare your independence, one quiet, deliberate morning at a time. It is you becoming a citizen of your own inner republic, with its own laws, before you step out into the empire of external demands. With the foundation set, silence, embodiment, and acceptance, we now engage the higher faculties: judgment, intention, and perspective. These practices shape the lens through which you will view the day's events. Practice 4, the dichotomy of control. Clarification, the day's battle plan. Now, take a notepad and a pen. Draw a single, decisive line down the center of a blank page. On the left, write what I control. On the right, what I do not control. This is your strategic map. Now think of your key tasks, meetings, and concerns for the day. Be ruthlessly, almost brutally honest as you categorize them. Your effort on the quarterly report goes on the left. The report's reception or your boss's praise goes on the right. Your intention to be patient with your children goes on the left. Their mood or immediate compliance goes on the right. Your preparation for a client call goes on the left. The client's decision goes on the right. This 5-minute exercise is cognitive programming. It tells your subconscious exactly where to invest emotional capital and where to practice disciplined detachment. It makes abstract philosophy concrete. It is the application of Epictetus's first and greatest doctrine before the first battle of the day has even begun. Seeing it on paper externalizes the struggle and provides immediate relief. You realize how much mental weight you've been carrying that was never your burden to bear. you consciously lay it down. Practice 5, the virtue intention, setting your moral North Star. This is where you move from reactive goals to proactive character. Do not set a goal for what you will achieve or acquire today. Instead, set a clear intention for who you will be, for the quality of your soul. Choose one of the 4 cardinal Stoic virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, or temperance. Then ask yourself, how will I embody this virtue today in a specific, actionable way? For wisdom, I will listen more than I speak in the team meeting, seeking to understand before being understood. For courage, I will voice my dissenting opinion in a respectful way when I see the group moving toward an unethical shortcut. For justice, I will give full, undistracted attention to the person who serves me my coffee, acknowledging their humanity. For temperance, I will pause and take 3 breaths before responding to the first frustrating email. This shifts your entire success metric from external outcomes, which are fickle and outside your control, to internal integrity, which is steadfast and entirely within your control. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This practice defines what being one means for you today. It gives your actions a deeper purpose than mere accomplishment. Practice 6, the memento mori meditation, the urgency instiller. Now, spend just 1 minute in silent contemplation of your mortality, not to frighten yourself, but to focus and soften yourself. Close your eyes. Visualize this day as a finite, non-renewable gift. Remember that everyone you will meet today, the rude stranger, the demanding boss, the loving partner, is fighting a hard battle you know nothing about, and they, like you, are mortal. This does not create gloom, it creates a profound clarity and compassion. It makes pettiness, resentment, and status-seeking seem absurd. It makes gratitude immediate and forgiveness easier. As Seneca put it, you act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire. This meditation corrects that illusion. It reminds you that your time is the one truly non-negotiable currency. It asks, is what I'm about to spend my time on worthy of this irreplaceable resource? It instills the urgency to live well, not just to be busy. Practice 7, the premeditatio malorum, the specific inoculation. Now, take the general principle of welcoming obstacles from practice 3 and make it tactical. Pick one specific event you're apprehensive about today: the 3 p.m. performance review, the difficult conversation with a friend, the long drive in bad weather. Close your eyes again. Visualize it going wrong in a realistic, not catastrophic way. The reviewer focuses only on a minor flaw. Your friend becomes defensive and angry. The traffic is at a standstill, making you late. Now, crucially, visualize yourself responding not with panic, anger, or dejection, but with virtue. See yourself listening calmly to the criticism, acknowledging the point without crumbling. See yourself staying steady and compassionate in the face of your friend's anger. See yourself accepting the traffic, calling ahead calmly, and using the time to listen to something worthwhile. This neural rehearsal is a form of psychological inoculation. It strips the future event of its power to shock you. You've already lived through a version of it in your mind, and you remain the master of yourself. When the event arrives, it feels familiar, almost like a drill. The anxiety is significantly diminished because you have already faced the feared outcome and practiced your response. You have vaccinated your mind against the virus of surprise and overwhelm. These 7 practices have constructed the inner fortress. You have reclaimed your attention, anchored your body, accepted fate, clarified your control, set a moral intention, remembered what matters, and inoculated yourself against specific fears. You are now centered, clear, and resilient, but a fortress must have a gate through which you engage the world. You cannot stay in meditation all day. The final 3 practices are about that transition, how you move from profound inner preparation to effective, calm outer action without losing your center, without letting the world's chaos breach your walls the moment you step outside. This is the bridge from the philosophical to the practical, from the ideal to the real. Practice 8, the minimalist planning, the action scaffolding. Only now, after the deep inner work of the first 7 practices, do you allow yourself to look at your calendar, your to-do list, your emails, but you do so with a Stoic filter, through the lens you have just polished. Review your list. For each item, ask the twin questions: does this align with my chosen virtue for the day? Is the action required here within my control? Be merciless. Cross off or defer anything that fails this test: the tasks driven by vanity, the meetings that are pure theater, the reactive busywork that serves no virtue. Then, from what remains, identify the 1-3 most important tasks, the ones that best align with your virtue and are squarely within your sphere of control. These are your sacred duties for the day. Schedule them into your calendar with realistic time blocks. This planning should take no more than 5 to 10 minutes, but it is now informed by philosophy, not by panic or other people's urgency. You are not just managing time, you are aligning time with purpose. You are building a simple, strong scaffold for action on the solid foundation of your morning mindset. Practice 9, the nourishment ritual, the fuel for the soul. Now break your fast mindfully. Whether it's a simple meal, a piece of fruit, or just coffee, do it with full presence. Do not read, watch, or scroll. Simply eat and drink, engage your senses, taste the food, smell the coffee. As you do, practice trace back gratitude. Consider the vast, interconnected chain of effort that brought this nourishment to you: the sun, the rain, the soil, the farmer, the harvester, the trucker, the grocer. You are not just consuming calories, you are participating in a web of nature and human endeavor. This is a practice in interconnectedness and humble gratitude. As the Stoic teacher Musonius Rufus taught, food's primary purpose is nourishment, not pleasure. Consume what is sufficient and healthy to fuel your body for its work, not to distract your mind or indulge a craving. This practice of simple, intentional consumption sets a tone of temperance and gratitude for the day. It reminds you that you are a physical being dependent on a generous world, countering the illusion of self-sufficiency. Practice 10, the threshold. Pause the gatekeeper's mantra. This is your final ritual, the seal on the fortress gate. Before you step out of your private space, before you open the door to leave your home, or before you open your laptop to begin work, pause. Physically stop. Place your hand on the doorknob or rest it on the closed lid of your computer. Take one last deep, centering breath. Recall your chosen virtue from practice 5. Then, silently or in a whisper, say a short, potent phrase to cross this threshold with intention. It could be the words of Marcus Aurelius, "I go to do the work of a human being," or Epictetus, "I will meet today with what I have," or a simpler one, "I carry my peace with me," or "Let me be useful." This ritual is a psychological airlock. It marks the conscious transition from your inner citadel, your private world of preparation, to the outer world of action and interaction. It is the final, deliberate act of fortification, a reminder that you do not leave your principles behind when you engage with the day. You bring them with you as your armor and guide. Modern scenario: the chaotic workday. Alex used to be a classic reactor. He'd wake up, grab his phone, and within minutes be stressed by a dozen emails, group chat pings, and news alerts. His day was a blur of putting out fires, feeling perpetually behind and resentful. He implemented the Stoic routine. Now his first hour is sacred and silent. He does his breath work. Practice 2, feeling the tension leave his shoulders. He clarifies his control. Practice 4, his effort on Project X is his client's approval is not. He sets the virtue of courage. Practice 5, to delegate a task he's been hoarding out of insecurity. He visualizes the weekly team meeting going poorly, someone taking credit for his idea, and sees himself responding with calm clarification, not heated accusation. Practice 7. He then plans his day. Practice 8, focusing only on his 2 key controlled actions. When he finally opens his email at 8:15 a.m., he does so from a place of calm priority. The same crises are there, but they feel like tasks on a list to be handled in order, not existential threats to his worth. During the team meeting, when his idea is indeed presented by a colleague as their own, the premeditatio kicks in. He's rehearsed this. He feels the flash of heat, but it doesn't hijack him. He waits, then says calmly, "I'm glad you highlighted that approach. I'd be happy to walk everyone through the research document I prepared on it last week." The dynamic shifts. His entire presence has changed. He is not battling the day, he is moving through it with a steady, unshakable composure that others notice and respect. Historical example: Marcus Aurelius's actual morning. While we don't have his exact schedule, we have his meditations, the written record of his morning mental ritual. The book itself is evidence of the routine. Book 2 begins with the famous line, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly-eyed." This is his premeditatio malorum, practice 3 and 7. He continues with reflections on interconnectedness akin to our nourishment ritual traceback, on his duty to the common good, his virtue intention, likely justice, and on accepting whatever comes from the nature of the whole amor fati. He was likely doing this while donning the simple philosopher's cloak he wore under his imperial robes, before the salutes and the petitions began. His morning routine didn't create a perfect, peaceful life. He faced civil wars, plague, betrayal, and incompetent advisors, but it created a resilient, principled man who could face those horrors without becoming hateful, cynical, or tyrannical. The routine was his daily return to sanity, his touchstone of reason in an unreasonable job. It allowed him to be, as history remembers him, the philosopher king, not because his life was philosophical, but because he insisted on making it so each morning. Here is the final, resonant truth that ties all 10 practices together. This routine is not about adding 10 more tasks to your already burdened morning. It is about a fundamental shift in ownership and identity. You are taking back the deed to your own mind. Each practice is a specific act of reclamation of your attention from the digital vortex, of your body from neglect, of your intentions from societal drift, of your time from other people's agendas, of your very life from the passive flow of events. The peace you cultivate in that first hour is not a delicate bubble meant to stay in that quiet room. It is a resource you manufacture, a renewable energy source you carry with you. It is the steady hum in the background of the day's noise. It is the reason you can hear your own wisdom in a chaotic meeting. It is the space between a triggering event and your chosen response, a space that grows wider with each morning of practice. You are not creating calm out of nothing, you are uncovering the calm that was always there, buried under the rubble of reactivity, anxiety, and borrowed urgency. The routine is the daily excavation, and what you find at the center is not a more productive employee, but a more human being, grounded, purposeful, resilient, and free. So tomorrow, when the alarm sounds in the dark, remember the first move is yours, and it sets the game for all that follow. Will you reach for the world, or will you return to yourself? Choose the silence, choose the breath, choose to welcome the day's inevitable friction as your most honest teacher. Set your virtue, not just your schedule. Remember what is fleeting so you can attend to what is eternal. Do this not as a 7-day challenge, but as a new way of being, a permanent orientation of your soul. You will find, over time, that the most powerful part of your day is the part that belongs to no one else. In those morning moments, you are not an employee, a parent, a consumer, or a citizen. You are a philosopher in your own right. You are a sovereign in your own inner kingdom. You are, finally and fully, yourself. And from that unshakable, clarified, and fortified place, you can now go forth and meet the world. Not as a servant to its chaos, not as a soldier in its endless wars, but as a Stoic, engaged, effective, compassionate, and utterly free.